When I come around, got the whole thing wobbin'.
Now we go into our next subject. Our next subject is, speaking of top 100, is our reaction to the top 100. As you know, the NFL Network has produced this nice, wonderful, controversial list of top 100, which are ranked by the players before the Pro Bowl. That's where the ranking comes in at. The voting ends at that. Recently, my headlines are here. Case Keenum is at 51. I don't understand where Case Keenum, who's been cut by multiple teams, who couldn't make... The only reason why he became the starter is because both quarterbacks in front of him got hurt. And he wasn't statistically mind-blowing because 51, you're telling me he's the number one bottom half guy in the league. He was higher than Derek Carr at 60. He was higher than Phillip Rivers at 56. Kirk Cousins, who's come to replace him, has put up more statistical career numbers than he has at 94. I have no earthly idea why Case Keenum is at 51. He must have really been on the good side of all his teammates there in Minnesota to put him that high. Because I can't, to be honest, I'm like stunned at the fact that 51. 51. That means almost, like you're almost in the top half of top 100 players in the league. And I think you can put him, like if him and Kirk Cousins switched, I can respect that. Because, okay, yeah, he's in the 90s. He had a good season. He finally played, he finally played a good football. It's a great story and whatnot. But guess what? When it mattered the most, in all those games, one, he got extremely lucky against the Saints game because he wasn't doing nothing in that game at all until somebody decided they don't know how to tackle. He was one of the main reasons why they lost to the Eagles.
Got destroyed.
Right. And to me, how do you feel about Case Keenum there at 51?
I think Case Keenum is he was carried a lot this past year. He had a great defense behind him most of the year until they faced the Eagles in the playoffs, and he had weapons all around him on the offensive side. He had Dalvin Cook. Before he got injured, Kyle Rudolph, who's a great tight end. The two receivers combined led the league in as a duo in yards and in touchdowns. So we're gonna see his true value this upcoming season.
He's gonna be unranked. I can promise you this, that he will be unranked next year. He will in the top 100, and if he is ranked, it's gonna be maybe in the 90s. Deshaun Watson at 50.
Oh man, he would have been so much higher.
I think
if he didn't get hurt.
He was on pace to shatter rookie quarterback records. Both yards, probably in rushing yards as well. Total touchdowns was going to go through the roof. At 50, I think that's a very courteous thing. I do think because of the injury, I think putting him any higher is going to be more controversial than it already is. A lot of people think, how was he here and he didn't even play the full season? Well, when he played half a season, he was already at 19 touchdowns, which was tied for the rookie record of most passing touchdowns at the time.
That was crazy.
With Kurt Warner, I believe, or not Kurt Warner, or with either I believe Russell Wilson or Andrew Luck. 19 touchdowns, believe it or not, is a lot for halfway through a season.
A lot.
Because if you would have put it, that'd have been 38 total. I mean, 38 just passing at the end of the season. If he was, that was his projection
for a rookie.
And that's the only reason why the Texans offense looked any sort of competent at all.
Yeah, they had no shot as soon as he got hurt.
Yeah. At that point, it was, and you saw it. They gave the Browns the number 4 overall pick. But anyways, after that, Harrison Smith at 46. This dude has been undeserving and unrecognized throughout his whole career. He finally has recently got a Pro Bowl nod, an All-Pro nod, but this dude is easily, to me, the best safety in all of the NFL. Now, there's guys who get bigger names than him, Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas, who was at 42. And that's because it's like, well, Earl Thomas, if we're talking about the Legion of Boom, he has to be the big leader as a safety. So it's kind of like he gets known on name recognition more than his actual like production. Where Harrison Smith since day one has been a stud for the Vikings. Jarvis Landry at 52. I think Jarvis Landry is a great player, but his average to his receptions to yards input is really bad. He averages only only 4.6 yards a catch, which is
I could do that.
Which is very low. A guy like Ted Ginn has barely over 55 catches, I believe, this past season and 1,000 yards. Jarvis Landry barely touched 1,000 yards and had almost over 96 catches. So it's kind of like he went from being underrated and underpaid because he's like, he doesn't have any good quarterbacks out there. Maybe Ryan Tannehill and then Jay Cutler and whatnot. That revolving door they had going on there, and he's just making the best. But now that he's paid like a top 5 receiver and he's on the Browns, I think production, he's still going to catch a lot of, balls and have a lot of reception. I just think the touchdowns and the yards are just not going to be there. I do think he's a top 100 player, just not within the 50s. I think maybe 70s. You can argue, he had a good year reception-wise. I don't think he should be higher than OBJ. Even though OBJ had an injured season, I think Odell Beckham is still a better player than him.
Definitely a better player.
So, now granted, OBJ got hurt, and I still somewhat am controversial putting hurt players on this list.
Like J.J. Watt?
Yeah. Because my thing is, we don't know what this list is. Is it the top 100 players that played in 2017?
Top 100 most popular players.
And then, to be honest, it is a popularity contest, is it not? Or top players entering the 2018 season. Which one is it? Because if you're saying, these are players that played in 2017, what's J.J. Watt doing there? What's all these injured players doing there? They didn't play. I can understand if it's a projection list. I get that.
Well, I still wouldn't understand that because OBJ would definitely be higher.
Yeah, he'd be a top 20 player if it's a projection list, and then Case Keenum wouldn't be at 51 if it's a projection list. So it's kind of like like I said, we don't vote. We don't know what the voting rules is. It's just they give them a paper and they just tell them, hey, give me your 10 best players, and then by percentage numbers, that's where they put them at.
Probably.
And that's our reaction. Tell us what you guys think of the top 100 list. Who are some controversial guys? Leave a comment down below, and always like and subscribe, as always, for more content here on MVP.